Joining me today is New York Times bestselling author whose novels have sold over 10 million copies, the Queen of Nantucket, and one of my very favorite authors, Elin Hilderbrand. Welcome.
Hi, thank you, Ashley. Good to be here.
We're going to talk about both books, but we have to talk first about 28 Summers, the book that affected me unlike any other of your books. So first, give me a brief synopsis.
So I based 28 Summers on the famous play / classic movie, Same Time Next Year. And only in my case, a couple in their 20s meet on Nantucket in the summer of 1993. Let's see, my main character, Mallory, inherits a beachfront cottage on Nantucket from her gay aunt. She's there for the summer. Her brother wants to throw a bachelor party, so he has a bachelor weekend, and his friend from college, Jake, comes, and Jake and Mallory have a thing, and they decide over the course of the weekend that they're going to come back every Labor Day weekend and spend that weekend together no matter what. So they do this for 28 Summers. You find out at the very beginning that so basically the book starts at the end in 2020, and we find out that Mallory is quite sick and she's dying, and her son finds Jake's number and doesn't know who it is, and then calls only to discover that it's Jake McLeod, who is married to a woman who's running for president. And then we go back to the beginning and see how they met. So we know what's coming, sort of, but nothing really prepares us.
No, nothing could have prepared me. Elin, I have to tell you, I was upset, like as if I were mourning the loss of a real human for like weeks after I finished this book. And I guess so let me try not to make this a therapy session and actually ask you a question. So your characters, I think, are what really get me in all of your stories. It's like the second I start reading, I'm hooked. I'm invested in these people. So how do you do it? How do you make these characters so captivating off the bat?
Well, I mean, it takes a lot. So, for example, when I turned in my first draft of 28 Summers, both Mallory and Jake were unformed, and I had to go back with my editor, and we revise, we build them from the ground up. The very first chapter, where Mallory is living in New York City with her best friend Leland, I had to rewrite that, 10 times, 12 times to get it to the place where there was drama and conflict right from the beginning. Leland is happy in New York. Mallory's unhappy. She's miserable. She feels inferior to Leland. This will all play out later in the book. But she gets the phone call that changes her life. Off she goes to Nantucket to become her own person. But all of that was like very carefully crafted over months of sort of discovering who these characters are. And it is a very deep dive with every one of my novels into the characters. And I don't know them when I start writing. So it's a discovery process every single day that I'm spending with these people when I trying to figure out who they are.
So at the end, how do you deal with, say, the loss of a character or the end of your relationship in writing the characters? Do you have to have like a decompression period?
It's sad. I cried every single time I read it. My boyfriend makes fun of me. I do it with every book that's sad. In this book, I'd get to the end. When I was reading a draft, I'd cry. He would be like, "You're ridiculous. You already know what happens. You wrote it." It makes me upset every single time. Every single time when she drops her son off at college, I cry every time. So it's just a process, of like just loving them so much. And I think, that maybe is the secret ingredient. I just love them so much. And I really try and convey that love to my reader and be like, how do I get my reader to love them? Well, you make them flawed, right? And you make them real and you make them good people.
Well, you do a wonderful job at that. And I read that this is your first novel that's going to be turned into a feature film. Is that still the case?
Yes, that is still the case. I heard most recently they have a writer for the script and that she will be done in the next couple of months. And so we'll see how that goes. And hopefully the script is satisfactory and we can start to shoot it next summer. We'll see.
If not, do you have any creative input?
I'll work with the producers if the script is not quite right. We'll get it there. We'll get it there. It's fairly easy. It's already been a movie.
Right.
It's just my novel, you know, is so different, really like a lot more involved and a lot more complex than the play was. But you know, my producer is very dedicated to, you know, creating like a sweeping love story, or like I call it like the say anything of like my generation. Like they want to make 28 Summers like the love story of, for people who are your age and even younger than you, to have it be like sort of a defining love story of our times, which would be great.
I'm gonna have to mentally prepare for days. Obviously, I need to go see it, but before when it comes out, I'm gonna have to prepare. I can't even like. I finished the book and I just started bawling. My husband came in and literally thought something terrible happened. And then I was wearing all black and walking my dog with sunglasses, like very, very emo. But I'm excited. And then you have a couple other of your books that are becoming series, correct? Limited series?
Hopefully, yes. So the Paradise series has been optioned by ABC. The Perfect Couple has been optioned. That we have a script for that. That has not yet found a home, but it might. The Winter Street series is being shopped. I sold Summer of '69 to the movies, to Sony Pictures. I have a bunch of stuff. We'll just have to wait and see what gets made.
So excited. I can't wait to see all of it. But since you brought up the Paradise series, your latest novel, Troubles in Paradise, this is the third book in this series, which I cannot wait to read, but I've read the other two. So this series that I'm doing is called The Middle. So when you, as an author, are in the middle of a multi-book series, do you know when you're writing the first one, how many there are going to be?
So there was a point in book 3 where I could have splintered off and done a book 4. I could see it. Like I could have had like a twist that would have required another book. And at that point, Ashley, I said to myself, do I want to write another book? And I decided that I did not, that I wanted this to be it. So I closed everything out at the end of this novel. Again, it has been optioned by ABC. So if they do decide to make the series, they can always continue it past what the trilogy has in store for us. We'll see. We'll see. But as far as I'm concerned, this is not only my last Paradise book, but it's my last winter book.
Okay.
After this, I'm going back to one book a year. Yeah.
One book a year, but not retirement, because I heard that was a rumor and I was going to urge you to not, please.
That was a true rumor. I was really wanted to retire, and my agent and my publisher were just, they begged. And I said, okay, fine. So I have signed a 3-book deal for you. That means 4 more summer books for me. And then I am going to either take a break or call it quits for good in 2024. But we will have summer books, summer 21 and summer 24. There'll be 4 more summer books.
Okay, well, I cannot wait. Thank you for all of the writing that you do. I'm obsessed with your work. And on behalf of all of my fellow fans, please keep writing as long as you possibly can.